Rosa Peralta, and I'm the licensed Unity teacher, and it's my honor to give Reverend Jo a break, even though she had a message that I certainly heard, and hopefully, as this community always does and rallies together, we certainly are going to make those goals. And I myself commit to stretch myself further. And I'm here also to continue the 4-week Advent series. We had Faith last week with Reverend Jo, and today I'm going to be talking about peace. And we're going to look a little bit more, we're going to talk a little bit more about Advent, the history, and also we're going to I'm going to connect to one of the 12 powers, or two, and I'm also going to talk about how does this show up in our lives, and what is it that we can ground these elements within us, and really further our spiritual journey. And really connect. I mean, in a way, I'm going to really challenge you today. That's really my intention, is to really challenge you. Like Reverend Jo challenged you a minute ago. Well, I'm going to challenge you in my talk for you to walk even further spiritually and to really ground these elements within you. And I'm going to give you direction and ideas in which to do so. And last week, Reverend Jo did start the series with the first Advent quality, which was faith. As you might know, the Advent season is a celebration and an opportunity for us to prepare spiritually for the birth of Christ. It serves as a reminder to us that our spiritual power begins within. Unity principle number 2. Our spiritual journey begins within us. And when we take the time to answer the call of Spirit, we become capable of sharing divine love to the whole world. But first, it starts within ourselves. Just as Mary journeyed to Bethlehem to give birth to Jesus, we must go on our own journey as we prepare for the birth of that same Christ light within ourselves, our own Christ light, that each one of you are shining toward me in this moment. The journey is one that is supported not only by your own individual work, but also supported by us as a community. Never, ever forget that. So this Christmas season, we invite you, each one of you, to answer the call of faith, peace, love, and joy that will guide you home to your Christ self. Traditional Christianity views Advent as a commemoration of the birth of Jesus more than 2,000 years ago, an external historical event. It's all out here. Unity takes a metaphysical perspective, which is a spiritual journey in consciousness within. A journey to be whole, to be totally whole within our spirit. However way you say Mother, Father, Spirit, Universe, whatever works for you, to take that journey, to be whole, and to work from that place. Advent is a time to stay awake and pay attention. Pay attention to every aspect of our lives and be fully present to challenge as well as to be inspired. By being awakened and in the present to all parts of our lives, We realize the fullness of who we really are and the fullness of life, which is the culmination of Advent. The birth of Christ within us. The birth of Christ within us. Awake. Stay awake. Awaken. Live as Christ in this now moment through faith, peace, love, and joy. And so we're going to talk a moment of what Reverend Joe talked about last week, which was faith. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, right, again? Oh, you guys got this. In the book, The Revealing Word, states that faith is the power to do the seemingly impossible. It is that magnetic power that draws us to our heart's desire from the invisible spiritual substance, simply our divinity, who we are. We can draw on that every second. Faith is a deep inner knowing that that which is sought is already ours for the taking. We forget that. We don't have to be something, we are something. We don't have to be divine, we are divine. Everybody, we are divine. One more time. We are divine. Beautiful. Reverend Joe last Sunday stated the development of the faith faculty is the key to our spiritual realization. We have to start with faith. Faith is where we go. Faith is the first 12th power. We've got to know, and that knowing is cultivating the deep faith that lies within us. Jesus also demonstrated he understood the finer shades of metaphysical reasoning, and he related his mind and body to both ideas in the thought of the realm and there on the manifestation on earth. That's a mouthful. And it simply means he coordinated all those principles together. And he had the faith even to be in a time where there was so much upheaval. He stuck to what he believed, and he connected to that God within. He connected to the Christ. His name wasn't Jesus Christ. He was the Christ, and you are the Christ as well. He said, "Your faith has made you whole. My faith has made me whole. Your faith has made you whole." Faith is the support base. It's the first 12th power, as I said, for the other three elements: peace, love, and joy. So, now let us explore the second week of Advent, and that is peace. I was actually really struck by Daily Word today. I almost jumped up and said, well, I mean, that's my talk, so namaste and all. But then I realized that wasn't that easy, and I wouldn't want to, because this is my opportunity. Because I'll tell you something, when Reverend Joe shared with me what I would be talking about, I got so excited. Because when I can talk about passion, when I can talk about my spirituality, when I can share that with you and tell you that I'm just like all of you, and each day I have to commit. Each hour sometimes I have to commit to my divine. Each moment and minute I sometimes have to commit to my spirituality. And it wouldn't be without ado if I didn't give you just a couple quotes. And Buddha says, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. Come on, we're still doing that. The moment we react or we get offended, we are not seeking the peace within. We're living from the without. The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Peace is not merely a distant goal that we seek, but a means by which we arrive at that goal." It goes with faith, and then that calmness and peace. Harmony and tranquility derived from the awareness of the Christ consciousness. Jesus, our way shower, says, "Peace I leave you. My peace I give unto you." That's the Christ. We get that. We have that. We own that. Something to consider is the steadfast affirmations of peace will, if we say affirmations of peace, we will harmonize the whole body structure and open the way to attainment of health conditions in mind and body. And I can tell you that's my big area that I'm really working on, harmonizing and getting my whole health. A simple but extremely effective affirmation, really simple: I choose peace. I choose peace. I choose peace. Whenever you feel anything other than peace, you can stop for a moment and say, I choose peace. Again. I choose peace. So there you go. Anytime you can say, I choose peace. When we make the interconnection to peace and understanding, which is a 12th power as well, we cultivate and rise up to the quickening of spiritual realities. So the more we work on our spiritual path, the more we can choose peace. And we begin to get insight. And things aren't as important out there because we know we're cultivating what's in there, which is our God, our Christ, our divine. Jesus went back to the source of all discord and showed how all resistance and antagonism must cease. I mean, we look at our world today and we go, how is that possible? I choose peace, and it can start with us so we can tip it. That's why it's so good to stay in focus within, because if we stay out there, boy, it's going to convince us that it's ever so impossible. But I'm here to stand and tell you that it's not. And when I make the commitment and you make the commitment of working within, then we start going down the path of really making a difference and tipping consciousness in this world today before we transition. I believe it's possible. Jesus, our way shower, he did not stop to argue whether the cause was just or not. Agree with thine adversary quickly, he said. Meaning, don't, get into all this at the Christmas table. Just tell them I choose peace. Say it with me, tell those. Just say, I choose peace, right? If any man would go to law with thee, Jesus said, and take away their coat, let them have thy cloak also, kind of turning the other cheek. I mean, it's hard. I've done it, and it's hard. I'm not saying. But then just saying hard means that I'm living without and not having the faith to believe within. To the mortal mind, this seems like foolishness, but Jesus spoke out of the inner wisdom that knows that this is dangerous to allow any kind of opposing thoughts to form in consciousness. And the only way that we can keep our thoughts spiritual is starting and going within. And really monitoring. And that's what I mean about spiritual awareness. You go, oh, how can I monitor all the millions of thoughts all day? But if you embrace your practice, if you embrace within, then you'll begin to recognize easier and easier when it's time to say your affirmation, or to take a moment, or to say, I choose peace. To the mortal mind, this is difficult. But Jesus knew that the universal law of justice would adjust all matters if we just believe and have the faith and connect to the peace within us. If men would trust it and cease fighting mentally, the fight isn't outside you, the fight is your thoughts. This is accomplished by bringing the Christ, the Prince of Peace, to bear in all of our affairs. Because he said, my peace I give unto you. And you go, well, Rosa, come on, It is so, so hard. And I even sometimes, that's a thought that I always have to say, cancel that thought. But we have tools. We have the 12 powers. We have so many things. We have each other. We have classes. We have websites. We have an incredible minister. We have all that. How blessed are we? But the power that really connects to the element of peace for me today is elimination. And we started this morning singing the song, Let Go. Release. Because we can't get to that place within us of peace if we don't give up. I'm asking you today, give it up. You know how in Lent season, we give up candy, we give up all sorts of addictions, or because we're saying, I'm going to purify myself. Well, in Advent, you can give up judgment, criticism, fear, worry. You can give up all of that gets in your way. So make that commitment today in Advent. Like you so easily might give up something, and give up those things that get in your way of being a spiritual being, living a human experience. Our 12th power of elimination and release, because elimination is also releasing, comes into play when we talk about embracing the peace with us. Because like I said, there's so much stuff churning inside, the subconscious domestication. Oh my goodness, how can I ever forgive my sister, Mary? I mean, she's been so horrible to me all my life. I have a right. What? What does that matter? Right here, right now. It doesn't matter if I'm committed to principle number 2 and recognize that's who I am. That's who I am first. So the choice is yours. You can choose to let go of all whatever. Just put a name in there, because I know y'all have one, or 2, or 3, or 1,000, or on. And you say, let go of that. And let God. And I'll tell you, this is really a default affirmation for me. I use this probably almost every day. And the way that I use it is that I kind of turn it around. I breathe in, let God, and I breathe out, let go. And I don't even put a name to whatever comes with the let go, because Spirit knows. And I trust that I can be cleansed spiritually. So just for a moment, inhale, let God. Ooh, I hear it. And exhale, let go. And put there wherever you like, or like me, just let it go, because we know we're letting go what's external to bring in what's internal. And in your bulletin, we stuck the peace song, because as I close my talk, I cannot not talk about the peace song. I've been singing this here at the close of our services, personally, for 7 years. And this is a song that speaks to me. It makes me want to sing a little bit louder. It makes me want to really believe every single word that comes in this song. So if you think you just sing it to sing it, well, I'm going to invite you to take another look at it. The lyrics were actually created by Joe Jackson years ago. Ms. Jackson was joyous that Unity embraced her song and sang it all the time, because her intention in creating these lyrics was to bring peace to individuals. But not only that, but bringing peace to individuals then began to be able to connect it. There's something about, I work on myself and I work on my divine and I work on my spirituality. But when I do that, then I'm able to generate that peace, and I can connect with Melissa. I can connect with Jean. And then together we bring more spiritual energy. And then all of us in this room create that energy. And again, that's what the ultimate intention of tipping human consciousness. That's always my intention. And what I really love about this song too is it really uses the 3 faces of God. Because the song talks about, let it begin with me. And again, you have a paper in your bulletin that you can take a look. It begins with me. And that's that intimate relationship. But then it talks about a family we are. And it talks about the infinite, putting the peace out, not only taking it for ourselves, but putting out in the world. And then, of course, it's the inner. And the inner relationship always gets me. There's one phrase that if you ever stood around me and you hear me sing, you know that I sing this with enthusiastic, but when that phrase comes, let peace begin with me, let this be the moment now. That every Sunday, that means so much to me. Because again, as I spoke earlier, it's about I get to commit, because like I said, I have to commit all the time. I have to be reminded, because I'm in this human body, and boy, my ego wants to take me places that I don't want to go anymore. And this song reminds me. This song, that phrase, let peace begin with me, let this be the moment now. So when we sing this song today, listen for my voice a little bit stronger and louder, and join me. Let's rock this sanctuary when we sing the peace song today, because that is what it's meant to be, to send us out there in the world so that we can work on ourselves and we can begin to really acknowledge the divinity and the peace within us. And I ask you, how are you going to let peace begin with you? And that's your homework, to really embrace the peace song and think about through the week, how are you going to let peace begin with you? Namaste.